responsible for importing during that time frame?
During that time frame, between 55 and 56 tons of cocaine went through my hands.
Between 55 and 56 tons.
I told John, he didn't listen to me.
I told him from day one that Max was weak, that he was snitching us later, down the road. And that's why I wanted to kill him so bad. They wouldn't let me,
For the most part, I reported directly to the Ochoa brothers.
Did you ever meet the Ochoa brothers?
Oh, yes, sir.
And Escobar was the other name you mentioned.
Pablo Escobar, yes, sir.
Pablo Escobar. First piece of information you gave the government was that the Ochoa brothers and their organization had a contract. That means they were offering money to kidnap and or kill Barry Seal.
It was related to me directly by Fabio Ochoa Jr. and Rafael Cardona, along with Pablo Escobar personally. Either kidnap him or kill him. I wasn't asked to do this, I was told to do this.
The government had no idea, and honest to God, if it wasn't for Max Mermelstein,
I don't think they would have ever caught us.
He filled in the gaps.
They knew nothing of where the farm was. They knew nothing of our trips. They knew nothing.
Max was like family. I never figured he'd do what he did.
They came the next day and they busted our gate and seized the house.
We were able to seize property in the value of $130 million in the Florida area.
And Max made the indictment against Mickey and me.
When I'm reading the indictment, I'm also just like, holy shit. I didn't realize that he was actually working with the cartel. I didn't know Rafa was in the car. I didn't know any of this. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't know anything. I'm just saying that nobody realized the magnitude of what John was involved in.
You get on a trip where you're making so much money that you were just so powerful that it wasn't gonna happen.
Every day I talked to her, she said, no, you were wrong, he's not a rat, I said, he's working for the police, that's why I'm not near you, because you're gonna go to jail, but I ain't going with you. Oh, come to Los Angeles. I said, no, I'm all right over here.
We located a small house that they had rented. We knew that she was in the residence, so we covered the back and the front, and in we went. I went upstairs and found her sitting in bed reading the Bible. And I just walked up to her, obviously had my weapon drawn. She was pretty startled. You would never think that she was a violent, homicidal maniac. I said, hola, Griselda. ¿Qué pasó? And she said, no, Griselda, me llamo Betty. I said, no, no, no. And then I gave her a little kiss on the cheek, as I promised I would to the agents many, many months earlier.
Police are saying she may be responsible for as many as 200 murders.
They arrested her at home. Days later, they arrested her kids. Everything crumbled for real, I'm just looking now for myself. Everybody's in prison except me, and they're looking for me now. Around the 15th of December, I was just laying low. Next door, my brother's knocking at the door. He says, the police downstairs. I said, the police? Fuck, they want. He said, they're downstairs. So I looked downstairs, they had 4 black flatbed trucks. They were picking up my cars. I had 2 Corvettes, a Porsche, and a Supra. They were picking them up in flatbeds. So I yelled to the guy. I said, the fuck you doing with them cars? When the guy turns, he's got a windbreaker. Send the back special agent, DA. I said, no, never mind. Don't worry about it. They're not mine. I went back inside the house. I had a kilo in my house for my personal use. I said, shit. So I flushed the kilo of cocaine on the toilet. I took the silencer out of my gun and I threw it over the water because I live on the bay. I just put the gun back here, 45. There was one car they left behind. This when I met my wife, she had a Mazda. They didn't touch that car. So I told my brother, let's just go get arrested, fuck it, So we went downstairs in the elevator. When we get out, it was dark, nobody around. So we got in the car, start driving. I asked my brother, he said, no, nobody behind us. We get to the airport, a car pulls up. It was a short guy, 5'6", He screams my name. Eddie Rivera, you under arrest. I pretend I hear him. I keep on walking. But he's scared at the same time. They already know who I am. He didn't wait for backup, he just wanted to be a hero. He screams again. You with the red windbreaker. So I turned. I said, you talking to me? He said, yeah, you under arrest. I said, for what? He says, we'll let you know later. So I started laughing. I said, go fuck yourself. Ran, the dog caught up with me. They took us into custody to the county jail. Ever since then, I've been in custody.
After Max cooperated, pilots started cooperating, ground crew guys started cooperating, and everybody was testifying and cutting deals to get less time. I had now become the main focus because I was the one putting the coke on the plane for them. They were going to give me like 30 years. I mean, you didn't have to be a you know, a rocket scientist to figure out it's time to, you know, blow Dodge and get the hell out of here. And I went for a bond hearing, and they said, you're not getting a bond, forget about it. And that was that. About a week later, Dick Gregory comes with 2 FBI agents, this guy Joe Usher, who was heading up the case, and another agent, and they said, look, we really want Monday, because he embarrassed them by shooting this flare off and all this other, and they think he was trying to kill him and everything. So I said, if you give me a bond, I'll help you get Mickey. I go to Mickey's brother, and I went without telling them that I was going. I snuck out again in a disguise with another thing, and I tell Mickey's brother, listen to me, you got to work with me. I'm never going to lead them to Mickey, but they have to believe for the next month or 2 months that I'm going to get them Mickey. And you have to be able to work with me to do this, because I need time to get all my shit together, because I'm getting out of here. And I'll help Mickey with whatever he needs, because Mickey needed papers. He was a fugitive, and he knew I could get him papers. In a week, I'll give you everything, the documents you need, so Mickey can live as a different person. So Mickey's brother goes to Mickey. Mickey says, great, he knows you won't give him up. Let's do it.
It took maybe a week or 2 weeks. I mean, I had to get myself settled in. Fortunately, they showed my picture from the driver's license, you know. I'm funny looking, but that was really a bad picture.
Well, I had it arranged that I was going to meet Mickey's brother. I made a phone call with the FBI listening. Hey, what's up? I'm going to meet you tomorrow over here at Denny's. Okay, we'll meet at Denny's. So I meet him. He knows they're following me and everything, and we talk. And now I have a bug, and they're recording all this, and da-da-da, and everything's going fine. I go back to them, and this guy's, good, you're working with us. He said, well, I'm going to tell you, I'll find you wherever you are if you take off. Why would you think I'm going to take off? Because Max tells us that you're full of shit. You're not going to cooperate, and you're going to take off. I'm thinking to myself, Max is finally doing something correct here, you know? But I'm not going to tell them. I dragged it on with meetings and them following me and following him to nowhere. The last time they were going to get him, I said, he's going to have his brother here and you guys are going to get him. And the plan that I had with Mickey's brother was to pull over and meet a guy who was the same description as Mickey, and when they met that guy, that's when everybody was going to close in. It worked, man. They converged on Mickey's brother and this other poor guy who didn't even know what was going on. And they said, we got him. George, that's not Mickey Monday. And they went crazy, man. They came and they grabbed me. I said, what are you talking about? I did everything I was supposed to do. And now how am I going to get Mickey for you? And that was my way out, right? That I tried to cooperate, but this is what happened. And they said to me, we should lock you up now. I said, why? If I was going to take off, I would have taken off. You guys told me you'd help me. I tried to help you. My trial is coming in Tampa. I'll be there for the first day of my trial. I said, you guys better help me. Okay, okay. First day of my trial came, I was history. I booked it. I left Dodge so quick, like 3 days before my trial. I was in Colombia. I had all the money in Panama, plus I had money in Colombia. Money wasn't a question, so they sent a plane. I got on the plane, I went to Colombia, and for about a week it was all right. I lived on a farm out there, one of Rafa's farms. It was great. I had servants, I had, you know, women, you know, whatever, great food, I had a cook. And then all of a sudden I remember waking up one morning and they said, hurry up, get in the car. We pulled out and all of a sudden I heard pop, 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 and I looked around and everywhere there were just government guys firing at the car and Rafa's guys firing back at the government cars, and we got out of there and they took me to another farm, and this went on for weeks. It was when the American government put so much pressure on the Colombians because they said we're not going to give you any more money that they were trying to like sort of make a half-assed attempt to crack down.
Another law enforcement approach involves greater cooperation between American and Colombian authorities.
We need to get the State Department active in letting every country know where drugs are coming from, that we're going to assess our relationship with them based on what they're doing to clean up those drugs.
And the wars started in Colombia. And I went from one place to the next, and finally I told them, I can't, you know, this is crazy. I should have just stayed in jail. Every day there's guns going off and machine guns. I had friends in Mexico. I went to Mexico and they told me, you'll become a Mexican citizen and no problem, you'll live here. So I lived there for a while, and that was great. For some reason, the government had a bug up their ass. That guy started with the 10 most wanted or America or some shit. They put a picture of me up and they started offering everybody rewards to get me. I knew that that was the end of my time because, you know, they were offering money and Mexicans didn't have anything, and I knew it was only a matter of time. They put me in this jail down there, and they gave me a chef. They gave me 3 cells. They built refrigerators. They let me build a gym. And I stayed there 11 months fighting the government, and eventually, obviously, I lost. And the government brought me back. And we made a deal, and they gave me 15 years, which to me was, you know, I thought, wow, I thought I was going to get 5, but, you know, was a little bit of a joke.